Gunnel Cheesh, Sakat Johan. Gunnel Cheesh. Yak Echa. Kunnachach Toos Lak E. Yarach was Kene. Ada tuch de Tanya ach Thies Gastin. Gwasisiku e ka kechdach. Ye in the Cajun. Ye yaw tu setini aya sati. Ye yaw tu setini aya. Ye aweach tu ye ti khatsu. Sakat Johan. Sakat nach sati. Tsutskan. Kadeki na katsingit. Gunnel Cheesh, Sakat Johan. Gunnel Cheesh awe. Wuch kanach gach tu da adi. Yadu achsik. Dasak utla ye du asak. Du thich go saye. Gwasisiku at kasne ach satien. Tu ach shat hu uwe hutsu. At kasne nach ein teen. Jade khatnu. Dasa sayach yuch Áak'w Kwáan. Khatsu ye kukwashkuk. Singit khainach. Ha yanwat ikwa hastu tuasigu. Yis ka yis sha. Ada ye jitune ye achaya. Yin ochliat ha yuchatangitin. Sakat Johan. Ach ish has ignachadi. Ach thith go has kagwantan. Tu ach thith go has fushkitan. Tu ach thith go yetki yanyedi. Tu ach thith go yetki dukt uedi. Jade khatnu. Adusa. A katratsi wak Áak'w. Tu ach thich go has tagwe di. Gunnel Cheesh. Ach teich tudach gunnel Cheesh ye daach acha. Ach tusak e. Tu deki na. Tu tsutskan, Gunnel Cheesh, Johan tu. Ye awe, hawa. Ntoiksism. All right, Gunnel Cheesh, cha. I was just trying to speak a little bit in Tlingit. I've been learning for a few years. And it's special that we have speakers here and that we can hear Tlingit from them as well. And that we maybe even hear some Haida and some Tsimshian. It'll be a wonderful thing. Maybe some South Slavic. We have a friend here, South Slavic. My name's Kagwask Yechatu SOK. Ishmael Hope Lekach Enach to Angluk, Uvanga Atinga Angluk. And for those of you, I really hope you check out the sharingourknowledge.org website. You'll see there's a tab there that says Founding Docs. It'll go through some of the reasons behind putting this thing on. And it was started in 1993. My father, it was his vision, and it was the elders supporting. I looked at some of the old letters from Joahach, Guch Daka Shu, and others, exchanging with my father to get it started in the early 90s. And it was a beautiful thing all through the way. There was a little gap from 1997 to 2007, but it's been going strong for a long time now. And I really, really want to say just Áak'w Kwáan to the sponsors, really bringing people together. Those who go out and they just grind away and they write their grants and they get people involved and create opportunities. It's an amazing thing. So Gwyneth Global Belt Heritage Foundation, the president, Dion Keriente Leite, really stepping up to fund so much of this conference. Sea Alaska Heritage Institute, you'll see they're involved and partnered with so many different things throughout the conference, and they are the sponsoring organization for the National Science Foundation grant that we just found out that we received. The Central Council of Clinton Haida, I think I might have seen President Peterson. He's from Áak'w Kwáan. That's the same clan house as my great-grandfather, who was also a Tlingit Haida president, Andrew Hope Sr. So it's a wonderful thing every time I see him. The Alaska State Libraries, Archives, and Museums, you'll see that's one of the locations where many of the activities will occur, and Zach Jones and Emily Pastor from Sea Alaska Heritage Institute, Zach Jones from the archives, state archives, put together watching our elders at the movies. So we get a little reminder of those elders from the past. Walter Babe Williams, Kaitlak Ish, Charlie Joseph, Kath Utk, those kind of elders. We'll be able to see them on the big screen. And that'll be at the lecture hall on Saturday all day. And the National Science Foundation, which I just mentioned, where we received a very good grant to do a lot of documentation and cover important things like honoraria and travel. And I also just want to acknowledge the amazing organizing committee of the Clan Conference. I've been working directly with a lot with Peter Metcalf, who's given a kick-study name, Qashdayin Ish, and Alice Taft Jock, who's given a Taktain Tan name, and so many of the others who are on the organizing committee. If you'll look at your program and just take stock of those names, people who've spent so much time putting this stuff together. And if I could just briefly ask the organizing committee to stand, please, just to be acknowledged for a moment. All right. Shakudzi. All right. So now at this time, I really want to stick to making announcements. And I really hatuqa na teach ya yi ani kach wutu adi Áak'w Kwáan Gwyneth tut Áak'w Kwáan yu tliawu hastu Áak'w tika yedu SOK yu Douglas Gwyneth Áak'w Kwáan tut Áak'w Kwáan Gwyneth away. So I would like to ask up, I really something that's important to the Clan Conference is when it comes to Clan business, Clan activities, who the speakers are, to defer to those speakers. And so I'd like to ask up the Áak'w Kwáan, and I believe Áak'w Kwáan will be encouraged to be with the Áak'w Kwáan. So I will, the floor is yours. Hatuasiku, Yichedach Utu Achi. We'd like to hear from you. Gunalchish cha, Gunalchish.
It's good to see everyone here in the morning. And my favorite saying is good morning to each and every one of you. Good morning. Good morning. Sheesh. I have my cousin Janine standing with me and my brother Lee standing here. And we would like to welcome you to Áak'w Kwáan territory. My name is Fran Houston, the Raven Moiety from the Yuktahit, Yuktahtan, and would like to mention that the fact that we stand here before each and every one of you and welcome. I'm glad that everybody made it here safely. And I wanted to stress that Áak'w Kwáan territory is from Berners Bay, all of the Juneau area, Douglas, down the end of Seymour Canal. The Áak'w Kwáans were the first indigenous people of this area, and that anybody else that came ashore, they had to get permission to come ashore. This land of Áak'w Kwáan territory, when they first came into this area, it was a gift that this land was chosen for the Áak'w Kwáan from the good man above, God. He chose this land for us. So I'm just going to go ahead and make this short, and I know that we're a little bit behind. And again, each and every one of you, welcome. It is good to see faces I haven't seen for a while, and I feel at home when I see family and I see friends. And I wish everybody the best of luck on what is going to be transpired during this clan conference. I'd like to thank all of those that were involved in putting all this together. This is my first clan conference I've ever attended, so I'm a little bit nervous. So again, enjoy your stay here in Juneau on the land of the Áak'w Kwáans. Gunakchish, Gunakchish.
I also wanted to mention that, I wanted to tell everybody my Tlingit name. It's Áak'w. Our grandmother, Bessie Visaya, was a Nakla of our clan, and I was very fortunate to be named by her. So for those of you who do not know what that means, it means Lady of the Land, Lady of the Áak'w Kwáan land, the Áak'w Kwáan territory. So you can call me Áak'w, or you can call me Janine. Can you guys say that? Áak'w. Yes, thank you. Gunshish. Have a great time. Thank you.
Good morning. My Tlingit name is Shagunasta. My family was born in Juneau. My mother was born out in Áak'w Kwáan. We come from the house of Kwáan. We are Plenary. This morning, I am very honored to be welcoming you to Juneau. I'm especially honored to be standing with my very beautiful Wushkitan elder, Marie Olson. She is a treasure among us. She is my outer shell. Without the Wushkitan, there would be no Áak'w Kwáan. We stand together. We hold each other up and support each other. This morning, I didn't get much sleep last night. All night long, I thought about peace. I thought about forgiveness, holding each other up, saying kind things to each other. The Tlingit people are family. We are family. And it has always been my dream to see us all come together as one people. Among the Áak'w Kwáan, there are many mansions. The Wushkitan are one of them. I hold them up. And also, the Kagwantan were part of us as well. So I hold the Kagwantan up. They are my father's people. Ganashtish Kagwantan. I'm also a grandchild of the Dachloedi. My grandfather, his Tlingit name was Kleakit. So I am a grandchild of the Dachloedi. Ganashtish Dachloedi for attending the clan conference. Let's come together as family. Let's hold each other up and share our knowledge with each other. I am very proud to stand next to my brother, Ed Coons. When I was a small child, Ed's mother, Cecilia, when I was born, she came to Sitka. She wanted to take me into her family to be raised in Juneau. So I've always looked to Cecilia Coons like a mother to me. And I've always looked to Ed Coons like my own brother. He is a grandchild of the Clinady as well. So I'm very proud to stand next to him. Together we welcome you. Welcome you to this land. Let's have a good time. Let's share food together. I come for peace. I come to share love with you. I come here to ask that we have no hard feelings towards each other. If there's any hard feelings, let's set them aside. Juneau people are wonderful people. There are wonderful elders here. I have seen it. Beautiful. One thing I'd like to share. The Áak'w Kwáan is not a small clan. We are a large people. There are many, many among us here. We are so happy to host and share our knowledge with each other. I am so grateful that we found God in our life. Without God, we cannot find peace. So I'm asking for peace and holding each other up. That's all I'm asking. Ganeshtish, Ganeshtish. My dream is for all of us to come together and be family once again. So let's be family. We are all tied together through our clan system. Let's support each other and enjoy each other's company. All the homes are open for you. I am not here for myself. I am here for you. To hold you up, to practice our culture, to sing our ancient songs, to hear our beautiful language. In our language, there are no harsh things said to each other. So let's preserve our language. I am also a grandchild of the Duckdainton. Ganeshtish Kenny Grant. You are like my grandfather to me. When I see you, it's like seeing my own grandfather. Ganeshtish for being here. Ganeshtish for all the clans who are here today. So let's enjoy each other. Ganeshtish, I would like to ask my elder, Marie Olson, if she would like to have something to say.
Good morning. This is a very special day for the Native peoples of Alaska. I think we have all of the different tribes, different clans, from Barrow all the way down to Saxman. Kajistan Yuduasak Slinkit Reinach Anshkas Tuwutacha Yachat. Wushkitan Ayachat Kix Adi Yadi Ayachat. It's a very auspicious day, and I think I will speak from here on in English because there are a lot of them here, including some of the natives who cannot speak their own language. And the amazing thing about this conference is that for the first time at a session like this, I hear the opening in my language. In my language, which is beautiful. Almost the entire language. Thank you. Thank you. Gunalchish. Kunachtu yake yayitat. Maria. I can't remember when I first started coming to Alaska for the Tlingit and Haida land claims. That was quite a few years ago. And I had no idea of all of the different languages that we had up here. And it took an act of state legislature to recognize all the languages down there in the state legislature and in Congress of the different languages that we have here. And at that time, I don't know if very many spoke the language. I grew up with my language. I was bilingual my first day in school, and was very unhappy that first day because the teacher insisted that I speak English, and I could not. And today, beginning from preschool to elementary to high school to the colleges to the universities, the three languages are being taught: Haida, Tsimshian, and Tlingit. And I know up north that Eskimo, well, Yupik, and Inupiaq, and the 15 different languages of Athabaskan are being taught. That is history in the making. That is history that has been happening among us. And to me, that is fantastic. It's the kind of history that I will be glad to be reading about, because it's never happened. And there will be people here working that are recording this for history, and it's going to go down into the archives maybe 10, 20 years from now. You have to think about that. Did I hear my language? Did I hear Tlingit? Did I hear Haida? Did I hear Tsutskan? Wow. All of you are part of that history, every last one of you, because you are here. My mother comes from this area, and you can read that in some of the maps, in some of the books that have been written about us. You can read it all. And here I stand as a member of the Áak'w Kwáan to welcome you all to this area. And here you sit, part of this history that's happening right around you. To hear the opening in Tlingit, Dunal Sheesh. I welcome you all to my area, but I also honor my father. Kiks ade ayaho sheet katach. My father comes from Sitka. His mother comes from Sitka. I make a point to honor my father, because he didn't have a birth certificate when Tlingit and Haida was first taking the census, or how many Tlingits there were. He didn't have a birth certificate. I had a birth certificate, but might have been off one day because I panicked because my name didn't show up. So the people that take care of the vital statistics went in the back. Oh yeah, there I was. I thought I was born November 27. I was born November 28, and I relaxed. You have to have that identification today. My father didn't have it because he was born out in the islands around Sitka. And if you know Sitka, there are a lot of islands around there. It's a beautiful area. I think the early discoverers of Alaska started calling Sitka the Paris of the Northwest Coast because it was being developed. It had a cathedral where I was baptized in the Russian Greek Orthodox Church. It had everything that Paris had. You can think about that. There were ships out in the bay from different countries. Big, huge ships that came by sail and brought their culture to Sitka. And Baranov was the governor of Alaska. He had his castle up there on a hill. I remember that castle. I remember crawling up the side and seeing that castle that Baranov lived in. And that's history right there. And naturally, with big cities, there'll be fires. One of the fires destroyed St. Michael's Russian church. My father was there. He was carrying buckets of water to put the fire out. And other people were running inside the Russian church, picking up the icons and saving them. Fortunately, there were plans made to build the church again. So the church is built exactly the way it was, rebuilt for real. Alaska was a territory like some of the other places. Samoa was a territory. They brought the outside ways of doing business to us, and I understand that it was the Alaska Native Brotherhood that brought the idea of running a meeting in parliamentary order. And the young man that was speaking first, his father became a parliamentarian that could teach the way of doing business. All of us here, I venture to say, have been through some historical meetings. When Alaska became a state, it was recognized. The parliamentarians was that young man's father, John Hope, along with another man, Frank Johnson. And I remember that. That is fantastic history that I think put the people of Alaska on the map. Before that, we were a territory. They didn't know anything about the many, many languages that we had. It took one young legislator from Sitka to recognize our language, to recognize 20 different languages in the state of Alaska. And we're a part, all of us, a part of that history. And it's neat that it's happening right here in my home area. And I have to mention one of the charts that was made to identify every clan in every area, every clan and the languages that they spoke. And that chart graph was given to the school system. I don't know if they're in the school system. I know they are on campus at the University of Alaska, Juneau. And you all should know that right now, historically, the state is in trouble financially. And it's a good time for us to support our legislators because we have them up there on the hill. And we have them from Dillingham, who's a Speaker of the House. And I think I saw Jesse, who represents the Juneau area as a senator. Welcome to Juneau. I hope you all return home learning something new about somebody else besides yourself. You have to know who you are. You learn all you can about who you are. And above all, learn your language. I was bilingual up to a point, and I'm fortunate I was bilingual because I am no longer bilingual. Never mind that, I remember my language and the beautiful sounds that came out in describing something. It was absolutely comical at times, but never a time when, after a parliamentary argument, which was given from the languages, in the languages, an argument that either passed a bill or put it down. That's what our legislators are doing right now. It's not an easy thing to talk about, but you have to know, because it's up to all of you to vote. We're in the voting stages right now. It doesn't matter where you are, you can vote and it will be counted. We're right in that stage now, and I urge all of you that are at the voting age to vote, please, because it counts. it counts. It'll affect you, and it'll affect your children and your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren. Gunnels chish, kanachach to we a kaya that gunnels chish.
I'd like to ask my brother Ed to say some words.
Yes, Áak'w Kwáan, Áak'w Satan yeachtu SOK. Hit ach kohidi. Plenary dat gaan Áak'w. Kagwantan yedi tsochatsati. I'd like to welcome you all to our Sharing Our Knowledge conference. We have participants from all over the Southeast and from the border, bringing those who are knowledgeable in all our traditions and arts of our culture. The Koho have 5 houses who use the frog as part of their identification. That is Hit, which is the house I belong to. Hit, the frog house. Hit, the whale house. Hit, sea lion house. Hit, the sleep house. We have a legend about a man who was in his canoe with some of his men, and a little bird kept flying around him, and he took his paddle out and hit that little bird, landed in the canoe. And all the men in that canoe fell asleep. And he brought that canoe ashore and took the little bird up to the Indian doctor, the shaman. And after studying on it, the shaman told him that bird represents his sleep, and he killed his sleep. Everybody in his village, when he came near them, they immediately fell asleep. So he had to leave them, and he was walking for days on the beach, and he came to another community. He didn't show himself right away. He's watching them from the trees, the bushes, and they had while they were harvesting their food, their methods were not very efficient. They were catching the hooligan one at a time with a line and a hook. When they went home for the evening, he built a little trap, and he caught filled that trap with hooligan and dug a pit, lined it with skunk cabbage leaves, and emptied the trap in there. In the morning, when the men came out, they saw that and they were discussing it, and they took it to their home. The following day, the same thing happened. On the third day, while he was bringing the trap up to the pit, the people came out and talked to him. There was no animosity between them. He described what he was doing and showed them how to use that trap. They invited him to their village. And he was teaching them some of the skills that they didn't have for harvesting their food. And they were teaching him their way of life also. He lived with them for quite a while. He even married into their tribe. After a while, he eventually brought his wife to his home where he could live for a while. Living, loving, sharing, teaching, learning has no boundaries. All of us here are from different places, from Ketchikan to Yakutat to the Yukon Territory. We're all here to share and to learn. Once again, I'd like to welcome all of you to sharing our knowledge. Áak'w Kwáan.
At this time, I would like to turn it back over to the sharing our knowledge for Ganeshtish for allowing us to be here today. Ganeshtish, please enjoy yourself.
It was awesome to hear that story. Yeah, that was cool. I never heard it. I read it, but I never heard that story. So that's sweet. Wow, Yak'echa, Gunaschish. We'd like to keep things moving because there is actually going to be some people that will need to go at 10:30 to get set up for their presentations. And please look at your program and attend those presentations. As you could see, our precious elders were taking the time to share. So we make room for those elders, you know. Gunaschish. Yak'eh. Yak'echa. And at this time, we want the clans among the Áak'w Kwáan come in. the Yanyedi, the Ishkitan. If you could come and share for a moment, and let me check with Peter here.
Could you, people who are going to, the other ones are going to start at 10:30.
Yeah.
Have you made that?
I just made that
Okay,
announcement.
okay.
Yeah. Butch Leti and the Yanyedi, and there's Anya Thahash and Juneau Te, and others from the Ishkitan. I know there's the Kukhitan who are close to them. The Kukhitan from the pit house, if you want to stand with your raven relatives.
Good morning. Okay, I'm going to speak for my family first, I guess. But who we are, I'm current president of Douglas Indian Association. On behalf of Douglas, we welcome you. But, okay, I'm going to start off with my family first. We are grandchildren of the Áak'w Kwáan, and we are children of Yanyedi of the Taku River. Is my cousin Lillian.
I'm David.
David's my son. My name's Marina Doyle.
I didn't expect this many people here. Well, I was going to start off by saying that Lillian and I were part of the crew that grew up here in the Indian Village in the 1950s and 60s and 70s. If you look at your pamphlet here, hold this up, Chicky. Right here where this big tree is, down in a little corner there was our grandfather's house, and he used to sit right over here. And when we were growing up here in the Indian Village, all this was tide land out here, and the tide used to come right up to Willoughby. When we were kids, we built rafts and we'd play down here. This was our playground. But why I'm telling this story is, in the 1950s, I remember my grandfather and them, there was probably 40 or 50 houses here. It's hard to imagine now, but they were wall to wall. And one time, I seen my grandfather with all his old friends, and we were far enough away we could tell they were speaking in Tlingit. But as soon as we got within 20 or 30 feet, they all switched to English. And this is the way we grew up. We don't know Tlingit, and it's something we didn't know about then. I knew we were different from our friends that did speak Tlingit, but how do you analyze that when you're a little boy or a young child? Nowadays, things are changing, and it's good. We have friends like Paul Marks, my good friend, he grew up, and I often wondered why he could speak Tlingit and I couldn't. But that's the way it was back then. You have anything to say, Chicky?
Yes. Thank you, Butch. I wanted to add that while we were part of a generation that maybe didn't learn our language, we received so much from our grandparents, from our aunties, from our uncles. We know who we are. We know where we come from. We know our ancestral lands. We know that if we share and visit with one another and share our knowledge, we know that we're connected. And that's really important. So I want to just say that it's an honor to be standing here with our opposites, the Ishkitan, and it's an honor to be here with you and share a little bit about our life growing up in the Juneau Indian Village. We welcome you. We hope that you have a wonderful time at this clan conference and that you go back with many, many sweet memories.
I just wanted to take a moment again just to welcome everyone to the conference. It's so good to see so many people, that we don't always see one another except for these wonderful events. And thank you to the planners behind the conference. I know it must have been a lot of work. And then also, I just wanted to thank the presenters who will be presenting over the next few days. I'm looking forward to learning and sharing and getting to know some new people. So again, welcome.
Chatsu Achtwasigu Yi Nyehwakai Gunilchish We Gold Belt Giasoya Yejichane. On behalf of Gold Belt Heritage Foundation, we'd like to take this opportunity to welcome you to Sharing Our Knowledge Conference. When we first started, we used to call it the Clan Conference. I have memories of the first few times that we've gathered in Áak'w Kwáan. I was a very young woman, and one of the founders, Andy Hope, which is Ishmael's father, used to pry me, find me, and pull me. At that time, I didn't believe, but he knew. So, and to see the vision that they had in trying to gather our knowledge, our elders, the things that they had, the way that they grew up. And with so many changes that has come upon us as Tlingit people, as Haida, as Tsimshian. I could say all this in Tlingit. It would take twice the time because I would have to tell you what I'm saying. And not every one of you guys will probably see the translation, but the changes that have come upon this land affected all of us, affected the way that our ancestors freely walked on this land. We're talking about borders. We're talking about boundaries. Tlain Gunilchish Áak'w Kwáan Yayi Thingidani Kug Yehayati Yayigi Tlain Gunilchish. So for those of you that don't know me, my English name is Marcia Hodge. I live in Áak'w Kwáan, Alaska. There's a lot of history. I want to talk a little bit about Angska. A lot of people from Áak'w Kwáan, this was their trading route in going up into the Taku. This too. And when Angska came and we start looking at boundaries or who used what, it sort of like kept us to certain places. The borders weren't ours. We can see today. I live up in the Áak'w Kwáan area. My brothers and sisters are Ganach Adi. The branch off of Ishkatan is what my grandma, those that went up into the interior. This is my cousin, my true cousin, in English way, my nephew. My other cousins down there, because in English, but in Tlingit, they're my brothers and sisters. And my nephews and nieces. Our grandmother went up when she was a very young lady. She was taken up under the glacier up into the Áak'w. And this is Sam's grandma too, Anya Tlahash. And then she raised her family up there. Was brought back down to the coast to marry. And eventually I found out that one of her husbands was one of those ones that they took down south, and he died down south. Then she was put with another man, Shungukadi. And then they went to Áak'w Kwáan. But growing up with her, you find out these things. I only had bits and pieces, but when you look, Marie was talking about archiving, looking at documents and piecing things together. Our kids are going to begin to learn who they are just by the things that our elders have shared. So some of the things that the land claims thing has put upon us is our interaction with one another. The way we interact today. Our clans are much bigger. Sometimes our young people get it confused and it ends up to be just a family. It's not. It's much larger than that. And we follow the lineage on our mother's side. Yahweh. Once again, I'd like to say, Atlain Gwyneth Chish, Llakat Yuhan, Yag, Wush Kanach Wutada Adi, Hash Katnig, Wush Tin, Kagach Tunik. Katsu, the other thing that Gold Belt Heritage is sponsoring is also the round table. Our language has been removed from us, and we've kind of moved away from it, not because of things that have come upon us in many different ways. But we want to acknowledge that we are going to stand together and take back our languages, no matter Tsimshian, Haida, Tlingit. So I want to encourage young people and those that may be watching, no matter what language you have, no matter where you are, whether in the state of Alaska or in the United States or in Canada, North America, our languages are very important because it teaches us how to interact with each other, and it teaches about our land. Ha'ani. Atlain Gwyneth Chish, Llakat Yuhan. I wanted to share, I'm a grandchild of the Yanyedi. Gwyneth Chish, Katsu. Shungukadi Yadi Ayachat. Gwyneth Chish Llakat Yuhan Ya Tlingit Yukatangish Tu Yith Tu Katsu Yani Sakweni Hashada Hanki Aya Yeyi Kwati Gwyneth Chish Yaidat Anya Tlahash. You just want to talk from there?
Yeah, talk from here. So I could lean about it. Thank you very much. It is indeed a great honor
to be amongst your people. We as Tlingit people has come a long, long way, whether we realize it or not. But since the beginning of this gathering like this, it's getting bigger and better, because the secret is, or I shouldn't say the secret, is the gift is to work together. This is why we're getting stronger. And I'd like to say that some of our Yukoners are up here with me to back me up, because I didn't want to feel like a sore thumb sticking out by myself. And so I have some with me. Please wave at the audience, all the ones from the Yukon. And these guys from the Yukon out there, stand, please, so they could recognize you guys. And also British Columbia, because we're known as inland Tlingit people. Now a little bit for on the Tlingit side. Gunalchish, hey you chudak wutu adi. Dakka hey ye haiti. Anasa ha shukhatu wasaga Tlingit kainach. Yanedi yadi e khat. Ish yanedi xatin. Kaya wansu katu ak. Yahaslan get kosti keden ke gaxatin so. Keden wushin ye jagaxtu ne. Ache kil jitu nakhak. Yan Tlatka. I am discussing a Yukon cook. The government in Yachatune. Yes, I to one to Cadenia Jagachtune. The Kateda Kehagat Latina one so. A chair a hoa doctor toxicity. Then je schoon toen nog, ga je het toen de gasity. Joan, haar business is toe, ja en de gig. Ja, lawyers, de gasity toe. Het laat goed dus gingen, het toch. Lawyers, de kat je want, which je koemas dacht was ook klinkt het geinig. Ach, aslayes, dat is de gade. Slinget keine Rede, was auch. Aslayes. Need somebody to lie for us, I guess. Anyway, it's very nice to see that, even though I'm not the clan leader for all the people, but they support me, so thank you to all the ones that come with me. And like I'm a former chief of my people. The beginning, first one we started doing our own administration. I was chief of my people for 14 and a half years, where we started working out of offices and all this. After 14 and a half years, I told my wife, I'm getting out of this kind of life. Maybe for a year, maybe two. 6 months' time, I was out there campaigning again for a seat in the Yukon legislature. And I made that one. There I stayed for 8 years. But when I got in there, I got a little more than I bargained for, because I also was elected the Speaker of the House. The first Canadian Indian across Canada ever to sit in the Speaker's chair, so it could be done. So thank you very much for all your hospitality, you people. Like when we get back, we're sure going to have something to tell our own people about the welcome that we get out here and the treatment that we have. So, Klingit Kainach Kaika, Gunas Cheese, you die to her. On Gunas Cheese, you get in high in it so. Get in, you died. Kagachtunik, Áak'w Kwáan Áak'w Kwáan, get in. Kadeen wuxinyeji to the nay, Kayaka, listening it costage, okay, Gosletin. To Kayaka, to Ayanach, to Ayan, Slingit costage, Kayat let Kanianach, Kadeen, Kagachtu auch, Kadeen, Yahayat Kay, Hadatchan Kasani. 2 case has wadi. Gonna change to in Qasat. Gonna change.
Good morning to all our brothers and sisters. My name is Áak'w. I'm the Crow clan leader for the Kokotons. I took my uncle's place about 26 years ago. It's very hard to stand up here and speak amongst the people that could speak Tlingit, because it was taken away from me when I was in residential school. There's very little that I know of my language. But I also am a commercial fisherman on the Taku. I've been there for 36 years as a fisherman. This is why you see how I walk around. Knowing that I don't know my language. But when I travel on our territory back and forth, from the Taku to Juneau to do our shopping, because it costs us too much to fly things into our river. Every time I come here, you people in Juneau come and say hi to us at the harbor. When we are leaving Juneau, we have some of your ladies, elders, come down and say a prayer for us as we get prepared to leave in our little river boats. And again, I'm really glad to be with my people on both sides of the clans here, because we've got to show our knowledge here and how we could pass things down to the next generation and provide them the values of what we have so we don't lose it. I hear lots about borders. The borders are not ours. Just like some of our Yukoners are always saying, they want to adopt us BC people because it's only a one-way road to Atlin. Alkeen. Way now. You know, it's always good if we do make mistakes, just like the lady said, she corrected me. It's all right. To pass this knowledge down, we need to know on how we talk Tlingit, Haida. Keep that strong. I envy a lot of people that could speak this language because I want to do the same. But when you're taken away at 3 years old, you lose that. And sometimes it takes a lifetime to come back. But when we have all our sisters and brothers speaking it, it makes me my heart warm. My grandma, Nyman, always told me, you speak from your heart, because it's easy to speak with your lips. So when you speak from your heart, you know you're talking to people that care. It's easy to speak with your lips. And you always got to watch what you say with your lips, because once it comes out, it's out already. And who knows who you might hurt. Because we all are brothers and sisters, even though we're from different bands, different clans. We need to keep our language strong so the clans that have gone to one person could bring their clan back to our nation. We're finding out that we do have other clans, such as the Dog Salmon. Once we start recognizing all these clans, we become a stronger people. And that's what we need for our younger generation. Because those are our pride and joy. Because who knows on where they're going to go on their journey of life. So again, I will say thanks to the Juneau people for letting us come to this conference. As a clan leader, I've been getting mail all the time to come to this conference. This is my first time coming to one. I want to come back more as a clan leader, so I too can learn with my brothers and sisters from all of our territory, because there is no boundaries in our mind. All of this is all Cliggett and Haida territory. So again, with that, goodness cheese.
Anybody else?
I hope you're all ready to sit there for about 5 hours. Kiruda is my Indian name from the Yanyeri. Sadiya is my mother, Elizabeth Nyman. Maybe many of you wouldn't remember her. And my dad, Steve Williams, who I never knew. He left home when I was 9 months old, so I never got to know my dad, didn't know his Indian name. I got a lot to learn. But my grandpa, Billy Williams, passed a lot of his knowledge on to my older brother, Jackie Williams, who was our clan leader from '56 to 2013 when I took over. I was blessed with this, taking it over, and I'm learning a lot myself. I know very little of our culture, and hopefully somebody out there or everybody around here will teach me something about our culture. Because we do need it to be that strong people that we are. And as long as we stick together and become that one unified nation, we will be powerful, I believe. There's so many stories that go around, some true, some false, accusations about this guy and that guy. We should not try to hurt one another, but be happy with one another. Because that way, like I say, we're a happy family, and I want to see that again. So I'm willing to learn from all the elders that are in Juneau, Carcross, Teslin, Athlin, Well, we don't have any more left in Athlone. I'm about the third oldest one over there. And I know, like I said, I know very little of my culture because I've never stopped to listen to my elders. I remember my elders talking to me, telling me things, and being in the drunken stupor that I was, pushed it aside. It didn't mean a thing to me, and now I'm regretting it because I do need it to move on and make a better life for all people. Ganesh cheese.
Forgive me, I'm Lillian, and I just loved hearing about Jackie Williams, and I want to share a poem that he wrote. It's in his book, and I have really enjoyed reading that book over and over. And Jackie Williams said, "You learning these stories is returning to your ancestors' ways. It is like a salmon who comes back to the river, to its home." And I just want to say Gunesh Cheesh to Jackie Williams' descendants and family for giving us that beautiful wisdom.
I forgot to mention this afternoon at about 3:15, they're going to show or tomorrow at 3:15, not today, tomorrow. I'm too excited, I guess. The Tatsini trip that Wayne Carlick and them made from Cranberry Island back down to Juneau here for the celebration. It's a well worth show that every time I see it, I cry. It's so powerful to me. So you're all welcome to come and see it. Ganesh Cheesh.
Anyone else? Okay. I wanted to add one more thing. Growing up here in the Juneau Indian Village, back in the 1950s and 60s, almost every other family here, Tlingit family, had fishermen, and they all fished Áak'w River. Now I don't see, and maybe it's hard to put down as knowledge, but our fishing was our knowledge. We've lived it all our lives. We grew up fishing. The great days in the 1940s, 50s, and 60s, the big seine fleets and gillnet fleets, they're all disappearing now. There's only a few older fishermen left, and when they're gone, that's it. I'd like to see that added on to this program in some way to preserve that and to pass it on. I'm sure the Canadians are in the same boat, but it's part of our culture, and it needs to be brought back. And young people need to know where they come from and what direction they're going, and that's part of it. And that's all I have to say. Anyone else?
Gunachchish, Yuchat duasak, Yaskachon tukasach, Ganachari shawat ayachat, Kokatan hitsu. I'm addressing the audience to say thank you, and I feel very proud and honored to be standing among Douglas. And I wanted to acknowledge Gold Belt Heritage Foundation for all of the wonderful work they have done across the border by including the Canadian Tlingit in their dialogue. And you'll see a totem pole that sits at Douglas Island School, the Gastineau School, that was put up by the Douglas Indian Association and Gold Belt Heritage to acknowledge the Tlingit who are inland. Those three ravens that sit on the top of that totem look to us. That is a message to us that we are Tlingit. And I really wanted to talk about and honor, the people that are no longer with us, those elders that helped inform our voices. Gunlachchish for allowing me to come forward. Thank you.
Welcome and enjoy yourselves. Next. Ishmael. I guess we can get down out of here.
Gunalchish. All right, let's say Gunalchish to the Yanyedi, the Ishkitan, and the Kukitan. Gunalchishcha. All right. I agree with what you said there. Norm Sarabian, did I get talked to too? All right. Yakecha. Well, I sure like listening to our elders. I hope you do too, you know. Well, we want to continue forward. We are running behind, but I hope you will recognize just the value of listening to our elders here. And Yidat Kwa Hatua Sigu Chagak Yuchewatani Yuachkak Kinkadunik Hajiyis Chagak Hajiyis Yuchewatani. Paul Marks, if he could give a prayer, that's something we have been reminded that we should really do a prayer. Kulchish. And while he's coming up, I want to announce that Ken Hoff, he's a Tlingit from Southern Territory, is running a van that could bring elders and people back and forth to the different venues. So I hope you guys can use that. And Ken's a great guy. So I'll also be making some other announcements as we go along. Is Ken here? Do you want to? There he is. There's Ken. Right on. Gulchish. Ken Kadunik. Gulchish Achkak.
Gulchish Kilk. If we could stand in honor of our Heavenly Father. It is always Kunochik Enuchka. Wuto da Adicha. Hatu yik enuch di yatet wutu skenicha. Gagan yachiti hayes yet wutu skencha. Yewa hayeti hatlinget. Gunalchish hadikian kau. Yisikucha wasa hatun de tanik city. Chudasa ha take to saticha. Just ha to wasigu yit wutus kacha. Just wasa yik eat saticha ha jitsa ha kwan. Ya ha khun ki yat kewutinya has to in a take one to the katu hansa. Ha tuwasigu ha take 2 day ne check to ha kayakahego to ha 2 day na gocha. Yewe ha da tutan ha chu ya ha yukatangi ha. Ha jiyes kuchte yenes ne. Ha tundetani tutan satewu ya ha yukatangi ushtin gachtut adkwan. Ye kotecha isasai tunakunalchish. Adikian kawain xanate naste yagi ye owa oho oho
Yakecha Gulchish Gulchishach Kak Kin Kaudenik Paul Marks. All right, I would like to invite the speakers for the Douglas Indian Association, Andrea Cadiente Leite. Maria Gladys Shepsky, if we could stand here so we can be ready to say the words, if you don't mind standing together. And I have not seen President Richard Peterson But if there is someone that he may have designated or to say hi from Tlingit Haida, and if there's anyone from the Gold Belt Heritage Foundation, I saw Todd Antioquia was going to give a welcome or say a word on behalf of Gold Belt Heritage Foundation. We also did hear from Marcia Hott, so, but if there is anyone who wants to stand here, that's open. And if we could just stand together up here and just ready to share when you can, I'd appreciate that greatly. Okay, Gunulchish, Andrea Kerian.
Thank you, Ishmael. I'm Andrea Carienti Leidy, and I'm the Tribal Administrator for Douglas Indian Association. My Tlingit name is Katsanda'u. I'm Tequati of Áak'w Kwáan, and I'm from the Shanak'hit and the Hootsit, which are the brown bear houses of Angoon. I'm Tlainedi and Filipino Yeti. Those are my father's people. I'd like to acknowledge and welcome Yukon Territory, Gunungshish, for standing with my husband's people. I think sometimes as clans, when we're matrilineal, we inadvertently take for granted, how we intermarry and how important our husband or our spouse's people are. And I married into the Yanyedi and the Áak'w Kwáan 51 years ago. And to honor him and to honor his people is to honor our children and grandchildren, and vice versa, and that's how it should be. I appreciate all the talk about borders. We work closely with the Rivers Without Borders, and we need to remember we are a people without borders. Those borders were created well before the existence of the Tlingit and Haida and the Tsimshian people, the Native American and Alaska Native people. So I even had to cringe when my husband said, you Canadians, because that's not how I see it. It's his brothers and sisters from the north. He also is a Yanyedi fisherman, and so I lament as well that those fleets are going away. I fished with him, and as did my sister with her husband, and we would watch you come down from the rivers, and in our own way we had our welcome to you, because we knew that it wasn't coming across the border, it was coming where you belong, all of you belong as the Tlingit people. Our staff is a very, very small staff with Douglas Indian Association, and there are only 7 of us, and there are 7 of us, each of us probably doing 3 different jobs to make it a full tribal governing entity. Douglas Indian Association is a historic federally recognized tribe here in Juneau, Douglas. It's the original tribe, and our tribe, the base roll membership, is comprised of both the Áak'w Kwáan and the Áak'w Kwáan. So all of our members are either descendants or they're entitled to enroll based on residency and being the tribe closest that they're affiliated with. So we also have Eskimo and Aleut and Navajo within the rolls, for those of you who understand the Indian Reorganization Act and the fact that assimilation and relocation caused the need for that act to bring the tribes back together again, rather than have them disseminated. And when I say the word dissemination, I don't say that lightly, because that's what happened here on this side of the border, this man-made national border between the Canadians, the Caucasian Canadians and Caucasian Americans, who decided to create a border through a territory, through a land that they didn't really have the right to do. And so when I talk about decimation, it's because I'm speaking from the heart, as our fine elder said, in that it broke my heart to see my husband's people nearly decimated, to the point where even some of our own people don't recognize the Áak'w Kwáan, the Yanyedi. So what we did with Douglas Indian Association is we were all very impassioned about telling the story of the Douglas Indian Association and the Áak'w Kwáan and the Áak'w Kwáan as best as they would allow us to. And we applied for grants along with the Rivers Without Border people to do cruises, and we did cruises annually to literally have a captured audience. The city and borough of Juneau, the federal government, the state government, other tribes, so they would understand the historical trauma of this area, the burning of the Douglas Indian Village, the seizing of Mayflower Island, the seizing of Mayflower School, the seizing of the boat harbor, a school being built over sacred grounds, burial grounds. And we told that story again and again and again, much to the shock of people that we grew up with, because the burning of the Indian Village was in 1962. We had folks on board that said, 1962, I thought you were going to say 1892. They thought it was something that happened hundreds of years ago, not within their lifetime. I grew up with folks that watched their homes burn. The city of Douglas planned it for a Friday so everybody could enjoy the show. Historical trauma is passed on, but so can healing be. And with that, we entered into a memorandum of agreement with the city and borough of Juneau, although it was the city of Douglas before the city of Douglas merged with the city and borough of Juneau, to make some kind of reparation, and that's what they wanted to do. So they entered into a memorandum of agreement with the tribe, and what happened was we did a number of things. They agreed, we, through our elders' guidance, agreed to let the school continue to be built. It was one of the schools in the most ill repair and with the highest percentage of Native students, and that's Gastineau School. And had they stopped that, because the uncovering of the graves didn't happen until late July, that the tribe could have stopped it. But where would our children be academically, socially, and recreationally? They would have been homeless. So our Council of Elders, after weeks and hours of deliberation, going through a grieving cycle all over again because of the unearthing of the graves of their ancestors, decided by a vote to allow the school to continue. And in gratitude, the city and borough of Juneau agreed to do a Gastineau lands study report, and the tribe picked the author of that, and that was Professor Daniel Monteith. He's a professor of anthropology. Dr. Monteith did the report, and it hasn't passed the review of the cultural committee as yet, because at first some of the history was edited out, and it's a history that needs to be told. And I know it sounds redundant every time I say it, but when it comes to history, you can't bleach it. You have to have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Blood was shed over our land. We all know that. Our Native soldiers defended the nation, and their blood was shed in foreign lands, just as hard as they fight for these lands. My husband's a veteran. He's a Vietnam veteran. So again, another passion that I feel, having united with him in marriage. So as I move forward as a tribal administrator, it's not just contracting for federal funds to do programs, whether it be general assistance programs, education programs, certainly near and dear to our hearts. I see one of our ICWA specialists out there, the Indian Child Welfare Program. Everything is rooted in what we've lost. Those programs that we operate, those federal funds that we received are in and of itself, including health benefits, reparations for what was taken from the Indigenous people. So when moving forward, we not only had Dan Monteith do the manuscript on the Gastineau lands, we also received city funding to be able to stand up a memorial to acknowledge those souls that revealed themselves to us, to say we're waiting for you to take action on our behalf. And that happened, and that feels tremendously healing to us. As a result of us rolling out our story, Gold Belt Heritage Foundation wrote a grant in partnership with the Douglas Indian Association, and from that grant came the ability to stand up the 2 totem poles that you'll see in Douglas. And with that, I'd like to acknowledge actually both clans, and one being the Áak'w Kwáan, whose clans are of the Raven and Eagle moiety, and the Raven moiety, of course, as Fran spoke earlier, is the Plenary. Ed Coons, the Lukantnadi. I know I goofed that up with Klukahadi, Lunakadi, Koho, the Ganakadi. And on the Eagle side, of course, the Wushkitan. But now here's what's really interesting, and what I hope you all walk away with. My acknowledgement, not just to my husband's people, but to the Áak'w Kwáan, the nearly forgotten because they had a capital city grow up around them. And actually, when we talk about the Áak'w Kwáan, their moieties, as you heard earlier, are wolf, which we call eagle, and crow, which we call raven. With the wolf moiety, it's the Yanyedi, the Satinedi, the Sitkwedi, and on the crow side, the Ganakadi, the Ishkahitan, the Kukhitan, and the Tuka'adi. Those were also nearly forgotten. And when we stood up those two totems, it was heartwarming, and almost a tearful heartwarming for some of the clans that stepped forward to say, thank you. Thank you for recognizing us. We thought we were forgotten. So that is also the work of the tribe. And the tribe, again, is federally recognized. We're upholding and doing what we can for the clans that were a part of the base role that created the tribe to begin with, the people that stood to be counted. And they come from both the Áak'w Kwáan and the Áak'w Kwáan. So we're a tribe without borders. We acknowledge both, but we won't forget one over the other either. That's our responsibility, because on the federal government level, that is who is going to go to bat and defend still. Even being landless, will defend the people of this land. Gunakshish.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I am Marina Cesky. I'm the deputy mayor for the city of Juneau. I'm here rather lonely now with a big crowd of people, but I do represent the city government, the city assembly, the 9 members of the assembly, and the hundreds of people that work for the city government on behalf of their friends and neighbors. They're all out working. Mayor Weldon is out of town, but she sends her best. It's an honor for me to be here with you and to be able to listen to all the words so far. I'd like to thank the Áak'w Kwáan people for welcoming us this morning to their land. Thank you also to the Áak'w Kwáan, the people who occupied both sides of the Gastineau Channel and the Takwa River Valley, and the Douglas Indian Association. And I want to respond to the words just spoken and say that I wasn't here in 1962 when those terrible things happened. I can tell you now we are working to be better, and we're learning from the past. William Lewis Paul, the great Tlingit leader, attorney, and member of the territorial legislature, said, "A tribe is a government." And as a representative of our local municipal government, I just want to highlight a few areas where our governments have worked together recently and how we plan to work together moving forward. You heard about the Gastineau School and the totems there, and it was completely in the control of the Douglas Indian Association whether that school was going to get remodeled. And we're pleased at how that has proceeded and are really grateful, and was honored to be there for some of those totem raisings and the ceremonies in front of the school. So that was great. In June of this year, responding to a request by the Áak'w Kwáan, the City Assembly passed a resolution formally naming this area as the Áak'w Village District. You heard people already this morning talking about this picture and referring, this area has been referred to as many things over the last decades. The Indian Village is one of them. And recently, people had started calling it the Willoughby District. And Willoughby never lived here. So the Áak'w Kwáan asked that in formal recognition of the historical and ongoing settlement of the Áak'w people, that it be referred to as the Áak'w Village District. And we will continue to try to do that and get it on all the plans. Because who the heck was Willoughby anyway? And a few weeks ago, the brand new CBJ developed subdivision at Peterson Hill we had a ribbon cutting for it, and 4 of the 5 names, of the 5 street names are now bear Tlingit names. So again, we are continuing to try to do better. I can't pronounce them. Maybe somebody could help me with that. Yeah, on that front, I've noted as a community of Juneau, we've come a long way in the 25 years since we opened a new middle school 25 years ago. When that happened, not many of the non-Tlingit-speaking people in this community could pronounce its name. And today, most everyone calls it by its full name, Zantakihini. And we have parks and some streets and some trails named in Tlingit, and again, we are trying to do better. In fact, the new project coming up is wayfinding signs, those signs downtown that tell you where to go. A decade or so ago, those were put up, didn't mention Tlingit or Native people at all. The whole project will be very different. So again, just in a decade, they will bear Tlingit names. And in fact, Lillian Petershore knows about the Juneau Voices Project series of audio installations connected with those signs. And she's looking for stories and storytellers to get more stories of people who live here on those places. And so again, the point of mentioning those things is just to recognize that it is good that we continue to learn from each other, and we are making progress as we move forward together. And I look forward to this conference. I can't stay for a lot. I have a day job, unfortunately, but it's very exciting to me that it's about Indigenous perspectives on climate change. We have much to learn from those who lived here for countless generations and had the resilience and the capacity to thrive in this place in such a dynamic change. Thank you to the organizers of the conference and those who have stepped up to lead on this critical issue. The city, in the mid-2000s, started to commission its first reports on climate change and its effects here in Juneau, and then began working on ways to mitigate and adapt. And it's been a long road, and I'm pleased to know that the Tlingit and Central Council just recently released a report in May called Climate Change Adaptation Plan. And this is a huge global issue that will require many voices and much work. And the city has a greenhouse gas emissions inventory, a climate plan, a energy plan, all in the work toward taking climate action. In the last couple of years, when it looked like the federal government might retreat from some of that action, the city reaffirmed its commitment to working on that. And so It's clear that we have a lot of work to do, and the borough looks forward to working with you as we do our best to forge resilient strategies for the resources and the way of life in our region. Gunuk
That was great. All right. I think my father couldn't have been prouder if he could be here, and I know some part of him is. Andrew Hope III, Ha Stunch from the Siknachadi clan, mentioning William Paul, and just what Andrea said, the story she told, and the point Maria is making of sovereignty. We're not just sharing culture, which it anchors our ties to the land and language, but sovereignty, that we're governments rooted in the clans, and through our people organizing, through Indian Reorganization Act, ANCSA, organizing tools to help us, but rooted in that sovereignty, that Yesu tuahain ha ani, we still claim our land. And so hearing that story, hearing about this, ties it in an amazing way. So this government to government, when we work with the city, work with the state, work with the federal government, and now if we can carry ourselves, and now we heard the Áak'w Kwáan, we heard the Áak'w Kwáan, heard from the clans, carry ourselves, still knowing that we own our land. I think we might be doing something that our elders have always encouraged us to do. Okay, we are, as we're saying, a little bit behind, and I hope I know there's amazing stuff being presented just coming up, and those presenters are probably getting themselves ready. I want to note a program change on page 6. 6B is, canoe colloquium. 6B is a canoe colloquium. And on page 10, 6B is 3:15 to 4:15. 4:45. Thank you. That's Alice. Alice and Peter, they are just going with this whole thing. So it's good to know the people that are doing, a lot of the work, and of course those major important sponsors and that staff members from Gold Belt Heritage Foundation are just all hands on deck and just helping with everything. So, and I wanted to also note there is a wonderful Indigenous tea going on, and I'd like to just have those folks who are doing the Indigenous tea make that announcement, and then we'll have an opportunity, a really, really, really special opportunity to check out the tea. And I am so sorry, but I'm not seeing the proper acknowledgments, so I trust that you will have an opportunity to do that. So, Gunachish.
Good morning. It takes a lot of us to make tea for you all, so they're all coming up. We'd like to start just by thanking the Áak'w Kwáan and Áak'w Kwáan for welcoming us and allowing us to join you here in your clan conference. Gunashish. My name is Ray Romberg, and I'm really lucky to live in Juneau now. And I am the coordinator for this group, this beautiful group of people. There are a couple of us missing, but we're called the Pathways to Prevention Group. And our focus is on preventing domestic, sexual, and teen dating violence in our state. And we have been meeting for over a decade to try and plan different ways to bring our rates of violence down. And we're here just to share with you our mission and, most importantly, tea and chocolate that some of our very talented members of the group have made for you today. So we're each just going to tell you our name and where we're from, because we are a statewide group that comes from all across Alaska. And also, if you would like more information about us, we have some booklets in the back by the chocolate that show you our vision for how to prevent violence in the state, how we create environments where violence cannot happen and where health and well-being can grow. And what we see here today is one of those environments. In the next 3 days in your clan conference, creating cultural connectedness, practicing language, learning together is violence prevention. So we thank you for the work that you are doing. So again, my name is Ray. I live here in Juneau.
Good morning. My name is Ati Nasia. This is Talia Mira, and we live here in Juneau. Gunashtish for having us.
Good morning. My name is Ann Rausch, and I also live here in Juneau. Thank you. Gunashtish.
My name is Elizabeth Sunnyboy. I'm originally from the Yukon area. I live in Anchorage right now, and thank you for having us here.
Oyana Dailuchi, Marilyn Castile from Dillingham, Alaska.
Shojri Jessica Oji Gwachaje Gwatsan Ethli. Good morning. My name is Jessica Black. I'm from Fort Yukon and I live in Fairbanks. And Gunesh Chish for having us on your homelands.
Hi, good morning. My name is Gretchen Clark and I live in Sitka, Alaska. Gunesh Chish.
Good morning. I'm Cami Moore and I live here in Juneau.
Hi, I'm Kristen Rankin. I live here in Juneau. Gunesh Chish for having us.
Hi, I'm Wendy Siebold and this is Avery Mitchell-Siebold. And we live here in Juneau, and I'm originally from California, and that is where my family is.
Delaware. I am from the Eagle Clan, Metlakatla. My teaching comes from the Tsimshian people, so I'm going to make a little speech. Bear with me for about 2 or 3 hours, if you don't mind. A few years ago, I decided that I just had the intent that we should end violence against Native women. I mean, that is a big issue and something that we should all pay attention to. And it occurred to me that most of the violence against Native women are perpetrated by men. And I thought, wow, we should get men involved, right? Then I decided, well, geez, I'm a man, so I decided to join this group. And every now and then they get me involved in different things, and so this is one of them. I've enjoyed tea, and my colleagues here know how to use the bounty of the land in order to flavor not only the tea but also the chocolates. And I thought, is that indigenous? And I think, yeah, chocolate's indigenous, I think, pretty sure.
Good morning. I'm Molly Rozier from Alaska. From Anchorage. Thank you.
And Alaska.
I'm Lori Grassgreen. I live here in Juneau. So
My name is Pete Hefner. I'm from Cordova. I was able to bring down some chocolates. It's one of my many occupations that I have, and I incorporate berries that I harvest from Cordova. And I brought with me some Nagoonberry truffles, as well as cloudberry truffle and high bush cranberry truffles. And so please help yourself to one of each. It kind of shares the bounty of what Cordova tastes like.
Gunukshish. That's why I'm standing next to him. I'm okay right here. Good morning, my family, beautiful family. Kase duhat duasakw, dau da'u yuhat duasakw. I live in Ketchikan, but my family is from Juneau. Although I didn't grow up here, this is my home. And my great-grandmother grew up here in the village and played with grass dolls and would get wet and dirty and would get trouble every day. But her and Mamie Williams would do it every day, so it feels really good to be here. So excited. I'm Wishkitan, and my family is from the Berners Bay area. I have 5 children and 9 grandchildren. So this was kind of my little crazy idea about bringing Indigenous teas to the clan conference. And it's my first clan conference. And I just wanted to share a little bit what some of my thoughts about the plants and the beautiful land that we live on. And I know we all know these things, but it's always good to remind ourselves of such beauty that our cultures come from. So, the power of our traditional foods, plants, and medicines in helping us to remember who we are cannot be understated. Our traditional foods are superfoods. Our native foods can heal our bodies, but they can also feed our spirits. Our cultures, our languages, our arts, our stories, our songs, our people, our hearts are the medicine. Our whole foundation is connected to this land that has taken care of us. When we take care of the land, we take care of each other. Our ceremonies, way of life, and languages can bring us back to our roots and our true path. We are all the ones who we've been waiting for. We are nature. Lastly, water is one of our most important spiritual medicines and one of the most important things we can drink. Water is life. Cultures around the world equate water with healing and energy. Given time, water will break down metal. Water will dissolve rock and even move mountains. Water is a perfect medium for extracting the nutrients and medicinal properties and flavors from plants. The 2 purest medicines that we have are water and laughter. So I just wanted to tell you a little bit about the teas in the background. We have some beautiful posters. Protect what you love, building strength, be resilient, taste the season. Our food is our medicine, and water is life. And help yourself to the chocolates and tea. We decided to do mason jars for everyone. And because we're worried about the climate, we can reuse those if you'd like throughout the conference. I grew up in the village where that was my cup. We used our mason jars. And so you can reuse that. The teas, because they're natural teas coming from the land, they take a lot longer to steep than the instant teas. So allow yourself to let the tea steep for 5 to 10 minutes. And we have stinging nettles, rose hips, and a lot of our traditional plants coming back to us that we've heard about, but maybe we don't use every day. Even the dandelion, when you think about the strength coming through, through the cement even, how strong and healthy these are for us. So thank you for allowing us to share today. And it feels really good to be at home and have a wonderful 3 days, and I look forward to meeting you all. But
wow, that was pretty awesome. I'm learning some stuff, even though I'm an organizer. There's just so many things going on. So please look closely at this program. We're all working hard. Don't be too hard on us. And let's have a great time together. I appreciate the tone that's set. So we'll break now. I think there may be already some presenters going and starting. But Gunchish Shao Deneki Anyat Kusani. We'll break right now.